Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Malena. Today I will teach you some belly dance moves because this was highly requested, and finally I will do a belly dance video for you, and it will be focused on feminine energy, of course, and I picked for you several movements that are especially sensual and that are very good for evoking and creating and cultivating feminine energy in the hip area. Belly dance is currently my main dance that I'm doing, and that's why I think it is great to combine a few exercises from belly dance or a few movements with one of the topics of this channel, which is feminine energy, femininity, and of course movement and poise. Because actually there are quite a few movements that are very good for that. And this video will focus on the number 8. So the number 8, or if you want, the eternity sign, which is basically the same like a number 8 that is lying. This is a movement that is very popular in belly dance, but it is a rather soft movement because we also have a lot of, energetic movements. There is a huge variety of feminine sensual movements, but the number 8 or everything that has to do with that has something very feminine and very soft to it. And this is why I want to show you 3 variations of the number 8 here. It is for beginners, but also for persons who are already dancing. For those of you who are just beginning, don't worry, it will come with the time. But first of all, we have to warm up and to prepare our posture, because this is the most important. And the posture in belly dance is a little bit different than my basic posture that I'm using for standing or for walking. So let me show you. So the first part of the basic belly dance posture is the same as my standing posture. You elongate yourself, so you really stretch up, and your head has to be high and straight in the middle of your spine. Your shoulders go back and down, and what is important here is that we elongate our upper body. So I will show you the difference. When I'm not standing in this dancer posture, I'm a little bit more relaxed here, but it also doesn't look as elongated and as elegant. So when we elongate our upper body and here the space on your sides, it automatically looks much more graceful, and this is what we aim for. And also it gives you a very good posture. The next part is our hips. So we will just stand straight, but our feet should always point towards, like, forwards. The tips of your feet should not show to the sides, not to the outsides nor to the insides, because our knees always have to be above our feet. So if you stand like this, you basically also have to turn your knees outwards so that you don't damage them, and nobody does that, and that's why simply keep your feet forward and your knees also. And more or less 1 fist apart between your knees. I'm now wearing a skirt, but you can see that here it's 1 fist apart, also between the legs, and the knees are a little bit flexed, but not totally straight, and also not totally flexed. Depends on the movements that we are doing, but for the basic movement it's just a little bit flexed. And our pelvis is neutral, not tilted backwards, not tilted forwards. You stand straight. Also your upper body has to be straight and elongated all the time. Never tilt towards forwards and never backwards. Now we have the basic posture, and before we start with the first number 8 movement to create our feminine hip energy, we have to warm up the hip area. First do some circles, and we will do some small circles, just isolating or keeping the upper body isolated and also the knees flexed, and then we will just move around the belly button area. So just imagine there is a string going downwards and your hips are moving around this middle part. So you can of course use your knees for that, because this is just for warm up, but try to isolate your upper body. And we can do this in both directions, just relaxing this area and stretching it a little bit. And when you feel stretched and warmed up enough, we can start with the first number 8 movement. The first movement will be the number 8. So basically imagine that this is the number 8. So I have a number 8 here, and then I will just put it on the side, but it's still standing. So this is basically the movement that we will be doing. And it's also not easy, and we will do it upwards, because you can do the movement upwards and you can do it downwards. Downwards is called Maya, and it's quite difficult for beginners. That's why we'll start with the upwards movement. We stand in our basic posture and we go down and flex our knees a little bit more. You find your perfect flex angle, because it depends on your body. Just go down as much as you need to have a free range of motion for your hips. So this movement consists of 2 movements. First, it's a lateral movement with our hips to the side. So basically you can do this to both sides, to the right and to the left. And we will just do it to the right. Then we do a hip tilt. I actually showed you the hip tilt in my catwalk exercise video. There I am doing that, so watch that. I will link that here. It is important to know the hip tilt for this movement. So after your hip is tilted, you go on the other side. You stay in this position, go on the other side, and when you arrive, you tilt the other hip up. And then again, you stay in this position and go back to the right and tilt. And if you combine these movements, you will have the number 8. And it doesn't have to exactly be the number 8 as you imagine it to be, because this would be too large, probably. But this is actually the movement, how it should be done in belly dance. So the movement consists of the hip tilt together with moving the hip laterally. And then you can do it a bit softer, but only after you mastered this hip. So it is important that you don't just start like that, because then the movement won't be right, it won't be clean. And before you start with the hips in a very soft way, you have to make the clean movement that consists of those 2 movements. And then we will just go with the number 8. It is important to not release the hip until you arrived on the other side. So you really have to pull it and then release until the end. Try to keep your upper body isolated. This was the first version of the number 8. Now, as the number 8 is standing like this on the edge, we will just lay it down. And then we will have this number 8 that we can follow with our hips. This is actually easier. And what we will do is, out of our basic position with flexed knees as much as you need, we will start from the back and do a little circle with the right hip till we are in the middle again, and then we will do it with the other side. And just combine both sides. We can also do that in the other side, because now we did the circles from the outside to the inside. One from the inside to the outside looks also nice. And now what is missing is doing the number 8, standing on the edge, but from up, down. And this movement is called Maya, and it's not that easy. But if you want, you can try. So we will just go down, and you need a little bit more flexibilities in your knees here. And what we will try is we will try to do this Maya only out of our hips and not with the help of our feet, because we can of course also help with our feet by standing on the toes, but we won't do that here. So we will just do the hip tilt again. We start from this direction and we go down. So the movement goes down. I think you know this movement from Shakira. I think it's one of Shakira's favorite movements. And it also looks very nice because it reminds you of like a snake. So it's basically the same technique, but it's in the other direction. The more you keep your upper body isolated, the more impressive this will look. You can also practice this, for example, by standing or leaning on a piece of furniture. Practice like that. Now what these exercises will do for you is not only will they of course relax and loosen up your hips, they will also engage your core muscles, so your belly will become a little bit toned. And this whole area here, if you do it with nice music, with your favorite sensual music, for example, or Oriental music, something very soft and feminine, it will create a lot of energy here, because this is our center, our feminine center basically. And if you move that, if you put your emphasis on the center, if you do those nice movements, it will be activated. And this is where the feminine sensual energy comes from, or where it concentrates. If you practice these exercises, you will be much more in touch with your body and with your feminine sensuality, because feminine energy can be everywhere, but it is mainly something that you feel in your body. Being in your feminine means being in your body. And you can feel it in your heart, you can feel it in the middle, you can feel it everywhere. But where the sensual feminine energy concentrates is basically here in the hip area. And this is why practicing this will increase your sensual feminine energy, and you will not only move much more softly and feminine and have a more sensual walk and a better hip sway, but you will also feel, you might feel a little bit more attractive, much more confident, more centered. And if you have never done that, and if you are not very much in touch with your center or with your feminine energy, then this might be something very new and something you have to get used to in the beginning. But the more you do that, the more you will just feel things in your body and perceive feelings much more in your body, which is what we want to achieve. We want to feel it in our body. And this will help you. So, those are very nice exercises, and if they are too difficult for you, don't worry. And if they don't look perfect, also don't worry, because it doesn't matter. What matters is how you and your individual body are moving. These are just directions that I give you. And of course, this is belly dance, and if you want to do belly dance correctly, you have to do it technically right. And I'm not drilling you to become a belly dancer. You can also take it a little bit easy and just see it as an inspiration for feminine energy exercises. So don't worry, you can take it very seriously, or you don't have to. Just do what makes you feel good and makes you feel feminine. And now go and switch on your favorite song and practice a little bit. You can let me know down below in the comments how it went for you. And also, if you liked the video, leave me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, just subscribe and activate the notification bell. Bye bye.